Hello and welcome back to the Game Lore Archives as we work our way through the massive Elder Scrolls lore. In this episode we'll be talking about the first Elder Scrolls game released, which is Arena. Jagatharn has imprisoned the Emperor Uriel Septim VII in another realm and has taken his place to rule the Empire himself. He does this by using the Staff of Chaos. The Staff of Chaos is an ebony staff made in the First Era from the power of the land itself. It has the power to open portals to other realms and the ability to obliterate a living being's physical form. After trapping the Emperor, he then breaks the staff into 8 pieces and hides them throughout Tamriel so that it can't be used against him. And just to make doubly sure, Jaeger drained the magic from the staff and hid it in a gem stored in the Imperial Palace. In the opening, it does mention both Uriel IV and Uriel VII, but we know it was the 7th. That was taken due to the years the game was set in. After character creation, we're visited by Rhea Silmain. Rhea is one of Jagger's apprentices who was killed with the Staff of Chaos because she could not be bought by him, and he needed to stop her from telling the Elder Council. She manages to bind her spirit to Tamriel for a while so that she can guide the Eternal Champion through their quest. Unfortunately, she can only visit you via dreams, so anytime she wants to pass on any information, we must wait for the champion to sleep. She first visits the champion as they sleep in the Imperial prison.
Because where else are you going to start in an Imperial in a Elder Scrolls game?
Yeah, just being the protagonist is like a life sentence.
Pretty much, yeah.
After listening to what she has to say, the Eternal Champion grabs the key and breaks free from the cell and loots the prison for anything of use. Once the Champion has their fill of useful items, they must make their way to the Shift Gate. Once the gate's activated, the Champion's then taken to a town from their homeland.
After leaving the prison, Rhea visits in another dream.
I see you have strengthened your arm and your mind. It is time we began this journey. This is the Staff of Chaos, the one item that can open the door between this world and the dimension to which the Emperor has been banished. Tharn used this item to destroy my corporeal form when I tried to warn the Council. He knew that the Staff of Chaos was nigh indestructible, having been made from the essence of the land itself. But in that he found the key. As the land is split, so did he shatter the staff into 8 perfectly formed pieces. These he scattered across the realm. I have been able to divine the location of the first piece, a place called Fang Lair. It is said that Fang Lair was originally built by the dwarves of Kragan. Legend has it that a great worm drove the dwarves from their home in the Dragon's Teeth and took the lair for itself. I only wish I knew the exact location. Perhaps there are sages or scholars who would know of this place. Somewhere in its dank depths lies the first piece of the Staff of Chaos. I wish you well. I do not think Tharn knows of your escape, but I can do little else in this form. I have tried to obscure your identity with a spell, but I do not know how well it will hide you. Take care, for Tharn may be searching. Go forth with the blessings of the true Emperor, and myself.
Having told you to find Fang Lair, she leaves you to figure out where it is, as she doesn't know. So the champion starts to ask around. Most people say they've never heard of it, and if they have, they think it's just a legend. But eventually, some others suggest looking in Hammerfell. The residents of Hammerfell direct you to Rehad. Then in Rehad, you eventually make your way to the palace led by the rumours of the Fang Lair. The Queen of the Palace promises to help find Fang Lair once you retrieve a scroll stolen from her, which is being held in a room called Stonekeep, which is the Goblin Chieftain's Golthog the Dark's lair. What an amazing goblin name. That screams goblin name. The Queen tells you that on the parchment is a clue which will help locate Fang Lair. Stonekeep is not too far away, and it doesn't take the champion long to get there. The Goblin Golthog has lots of loot there, but you don't actually need to fight him to get the scroll, as it seems he is out, and you can't find him.
It's a really good chance to loot his room, seriously.
There are lots of enemies in the dungeon, and a large group of skeletons guard the scroll, which need to be killed to retrieve it. With the parchment in hand, the Queen of Rehad then tells you where Fang Lair is and marks it on the map. Fang Lair is a huge Dwemer mine filled with tunnels, holes, tram lines, and even some trams left to rot. The mine sprawls out and the champion needs to descend to the lower level. At the bottom, the first piece of the Staff of Chaos is guarded by 2 hellhounds. Once you have a bit of the staff, Jaegar sends you a vision using the same power that Rhea is using. He also sends a minion to kill you once the vision fades.
Next time you sleep, Rhea appears to you in another dream.
It seems that you are well chosen. I see that you have won the first piece of the staff. That in and of itself is not a simple task. Tharn, it seems, is not as concerned with you as I had thought he would be. Perhaps he thinks you dead or lost in the sewers from which you escaped. That is well, for I have discovered the second piece's location. There was once a great maze built by the Archmagus Shalador to guard what he called Glamour, the elven term for the secret of life. I know not the location of the great maze, which was called the Labyrinthian, but somewhere in its twisted corridors lies the second piece of the Staff of Chaos. Shalador, according to the old text, made his home in the Fortress of Ice. He would not have built the Labyrinthian far from his home. I would search to the north for such a place. I wish you well on your journey.
Eventually, asking about the Labyrinthian takes you to the Mages Guild in Winterhold, Skyrim. The guild leader tells the champion that they can help find the Labyrinthian, as its location can be found on an ancient tablet. Unfortunately, as the final piece of the tablet was being transported to the guild, some knights from the Fortress of Ice attacked the caravan and stole the tablet. The guild leader is keen to get this back, and it will help decipher the mysterious Elder Scrolls. So the champion heads to the fortress. It's a 2-level dungeon filled with angry humans, snow wolves, and even powerful ice golems. This does make progress extremely slow and difficult, but eventually the tablet can be found at the bottom of the fortress and can be returned to Winterhold. With the tablet complete, the guild leader marks the location of the Labyrinthian on the champion's map. The Labyrinthian does live up to its name, and it's a difficult dungeon to navigate due to the layout of the dungeon and the way it's reflected on the map. The second level of the dungeon has 2 domains. The first is known as the domain of Morgus, and in it needs to be found Morgus's key. When the champion finds it, there are 2 cages, one with the key and the second with Morgus in. The champion has to answer a riddle, and if answered correctly, the door to the key opens, but incorrectly answered, Morgus is released and must be fought. Either way, the key is retrieved, and the champion must head back to the magic door on the first level. Once opened, the champion finds a second door, which also needs a key. This key is kept on the lower floor in the second domain, which belongs to Canaan. Morgus and Canaan are 2 brothers, and their domains may never cross. Even pass wall,
A spell that allows you to pass through walls. Surprise, surprise with the name.
shock horror. But even pass wall does not let you pass from one domain to another. The setup in Canaan's domain is the same as Morgus's. There are 2 cages, one with a key and one with Canaan, and answering the riddle right will open the correct cage with the key. The second door is open with the key, and before the piece of staff can be retrieved, there is one more riddle to be answered. Once this is cleared, the second bit of the staff can be retrieved, and arriving back in town will trigger another vision from Jaeger and an attack from some more of his minions.
As has become the norm, after a good night's sleep, with the second bit of the staff revisits you again.
I would congratulate you on retrieving the second piece of the Staff of Chaos. But dire fortunes have I seen. The third piece of the staff lies somewhere in the Elven Grove, ancient home of the elves. The Elven Grove is said to be the birthplace of the sacred first tree, that which gave life to all the forests on the continent of Tamriel. Its location has been a closely guarded secret, so guarded in fact that many believe that even the elves have forgotten its true location. Considering that there are only 3 provinces that hold any of the elven people, your search should not be too difficult. Find the Elven Grove and recover the third piece of the staff. I wish you well on your quest.
So, off to find Elden Root. The champion finds themselves following the rumours until they're in Elden Palace. The Queen of Elden Palace says she will tell you where Elden Root is, but because the knowledge is sacred, you have to earn it. I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah, there is a common pattern throughout this game.
To earn the knowledge, the champion has to beat Salen, who's in service of the god Shagrath, god of spiders, and she is threatened to kill all of the elves in Valenwood with a spider army if they do not submit to her. To displace her, the champion is sent to retrieve the jewel, which is on the seat of her power. Salen's web is not far from Elden's palace and is teeming with spiders. On the second level of the dungeon is where Salen's heart is kept. This is the jewel the champion has been sent to retrieve. With this, the Elden Queen can't stop worrying about the spider army and the threat it poses, and as promised, she gives you the location to Elden Grove. The first level of the grove is filled with dangerous enemies, and it quickly becomes clear that the third bit of the staff is deeper into the dungeon. A haze fills the grove, meaning the champion has to stumble around using touch to guide their way, but eventually they find their way down. On the second level is what seems to be a ruined city half flooded. There are some boats scattered around which can be used to travel around quickly. The piece of the staff is not so well hidden here, so a little exploration quickly reveals the location. However, it is blocked by another riddle again. Once answered, the champion drops down the ledge and retrieves the section of the staff. Unable to jump back up, there is another door protected by yet another riddle, but once opened, the champion can leave the grove. I love that there's riddles everywhere in this game.
Yeah, so Jagathon seems to think that he can basically outwit you as well.
Okay. Because there is no riddles in any other game.
Yeah, this place is rammed with them. There's pretty much every piece of the staff has a riddle protecting it, and various other places.
Well, when you outsmart him and leave the grove, Jagar sends his customary vision saying how he'll defeat you, and some minions for you to fight as well.
At this point, if the champion is surprised by Rhea interrupting their doom, then they've clearly not figured out how this works.
You have done well. I had thought you lost to me. The third piece of the staff is yours. Rumors have been whispered about in the Empire. I think Tharn senses that the pieces come together. You must take care to not be discovered by him. Your death would be most unpleasant. I have divined the location of the fourth piece of the staff. It lies in the Halls of Colossus, a structure built to honor a race of giants, though none have been seen in the land for ages. It is said that the Halls of Colossus sat perched on a cliff overlooking the Great Divide, which is along the southern edge of Tamriel. Perhaps the halls are near that coastline. I only wish I could offer you more. Fare thee well, my friend, and find this place for the sake of our loved ones.
Asking about the Halls of Colossus takes the champion to Corinth, in Elsewhere, where the Lawmaster of the local Mages Guild says they can show the champion where the Halls of Colossus is with the help of a handy tablet, which has been stolen.
And again, the champion has no right to be surprised by this.
The guild are weak after they've been raided and need someone else to retrieve the tablet, so the champion is sent to the Temple of Agmanus. The temple is full of fiery monsters and all three levels must be traversed to locate the tablet, which is guarded by another riddle.
Gotta love them riddles.
Damn straight. Champion takes the tablet back to the Lawmaster at the guild and they provide the location of the Halls of Colossus. The halls are a 3-tiered dungeon and are massive, as the name suggests. There are many clear keys littered throughout the first floor of the dungeon, and the champion needs to find all of them to make progress through the locked doors on the second floor. Finally, on the third floor, the champion reaches the last gate, which is protected by yet another riddle. And unlike some of the others, though, the answer can be found in the dungeon with some exploration. With the riddle answered, the champion can get the fourth part of the staff. Once back in town, Jagger sends a vision and some minions, obviously. This time, though, he admits the champion is a worthy champion for Rhea, and once he's dead, Jaeger will raise him to become one of his own minions.
Rude.
Yeah.
So, cue Rhea during the next champion sleeping.
You have recovered the fourth piece. I honor your bravery. Listen closely now, my friend, for Tharn has begun in earnest to look for you. Do not fear. He does not know your true identity, but he can sense the staff's power. With 4 of the 8 pieces, you'll stand out like a lantern at night. I urge you to caution. The 5th piece of the staff lies in an ancient stronghold of sorcery called the Crystal Tower. It was said that the southern tip of the Dragon's Teeth, which stretches from the ice-covered mounts of High Rock to the wooded forests of Valinor, could be seen on the horizon from the top parapet of the tower. This would lead me to believe it is not far south of the majestic mountainous range. You must find the tower and gain access to recover the 5th piece of the Staff of Chaos.
The champion must find the Crystal Tower. Again, after asking around, they find themselves on the Somerset Isles and the Mages Guild in Lilandril?
That's what I went for.
Lilandril. Once again, the Lawmaster can locate the champion's destination with the aid of the thing that has been conveniently stolen, and due to the contrived plot device, can only be retrieved by the champion, no one else. Today's culprit is a diamond that the guild draws their power from, so they can't retrieve the gem. It was stolen by a priest of the Mad God and taken to his temple. The temple itself is straightforward and mostly empty of any decent treasure. Its biggest challenge is the amount of water on the first level. On the second floor can be found the diamond, and after another riddle, the champion takes it back to the guild. The Lawmaster puts the location of the Crystal Tower on the map and sends the champion on their merry way. Now, the Crystal Tower is one of the more interesting dungeons in the game. It has 4 levels, and the first is quite straightforward. The second is full of ice and ice-based monsters. The third level seems to be some sort of troll zoo. There are lots of cages with different monsters in it, guarded by troll zookeepers. I would love to go to that. That'd be awesome.
It's really cool.
The monsters are optional, but the keepers need to be killed, as they could drop the key needed to progress. The 4th floor is much more standard, but it is where the next part of the staff's located, and once picked up, the champion returns to town and is ambushed by more of Jagotharn's minions, while he admits he's actually pretty impressed by you, and maybe a little turned on.
It's time for the champion's nap, which Rhea is obliged to disturb. So she tells you to find the Crypt of Hearts. Now, if you're playing the games in timeline order, then you may very well have visited this dungeon twice already. Once in Elder Scrolls Online, and again in Shadowkey.
I remember this one.
The obligatory quest before getting the next bit of staff is a little meta, but it is a bit more interesting because of it. After asking about the Crypt of Hearts, you wind up at the Brotherhood of Seth in Camlorn. They will tell you that one of the brothers went mad, talking about how the Emperor had been kidnapped and he needed the Staff of Chaos to free him, which obviously he was completely correct about. He ran off with the map, which shows where the crypt is. The champion follows the missing brother's trail to the mines of Koras. It's a 2-level dungeon filled with all sorts of ugly monsters and lava, making it treacherous. After winding down through the maze-like 2nd level, you find the remains of the missing brother, and most importantly, the map needed to find the crypt. Once the champion returns, the location of the crypt is marked on the map. It's a 4-level dungeon teeming with angry undead monsters and lots of pits and trenches. It is most easily the difficult dungeon for the champion, and on the 4th level rests the bit of the Staff of Chaos the champion needs. The staff chunk is protected by a riddle, and once answered, it can be taken back. Again, Jagotharn contacts you to say how much he is impressed with you. I think he's probably a little bit on the flirty side now. But now he has to bring out the big guns to kill you, and sure enough you have to fight some more minions.
Tharn is livid, scattering about the Imperial Palace like a rabid dog. You have caused him no end of worry. I am sure the wizard's minions are tracking you. I will say no more, lest I tempt fate. You seek now the 7th piece of the Staff of Chaos. I have found that this piece lies in a place called Mirkwood, the dark forest that ever moves. There can only be one of 2 provinces left that can hold this forest, Blackmarsh or Morrowind. I would start my search in one of these.
With the pressure to get all the bits of the staff together, Rhea wastes no time in interrupting the champion's beauty sleep. Again. Damn it, Rhea. So off to find Mirkwood, and following the answers to the champion's inquiries, they find themselves in Stormhold in Blackmarsh. And where else would a place called Mirkwood be, really?
It is true.
In the Conclave of Baal, the champion learns one of the initiates cast a spell that went wrong, causing the vaults of Gemin to be destroyed. In the vaults was a tablet which shows where Mirkwood can be found. The champion plunges into the ruins to find it. The 1st floor is a little maze-like, and the 2nd floor is flooded with islands, which needs to be traversed to be able to find the tablet. Once the tablet has been given back to the Conclave of Baal, they pinpoint Mirkwood on the map so the champion can wander off. Much like Eldenroot, Mirkwood is a dungeon filled with hedgerows and dense haze, with Medusa slithering around in pairs, which is the biggest problem. When you first get to the centre of the 1st level, you have to answer another riddle before going down to the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor is very small, and the bit of staff is kept behind yet another riddle. Once answered, and the champion has left with it, Jagotharn states where the next bit of the staff is, confident the champion will not be able to retrieve it before sending some more minions at you, because he's just got loads to dispense of. It's fine.
With one last piece to get, this is the last time the champion's sleep gets interrupted.
You amaze me with your tenacity. This game, however, is at an end. As you may already know, the final piece of the staff is in Daggerford, in the province of Morrowind. The information is useless to you, for none know the entrance to the volcano, and even if you survive the creatures I have sent against you now, you will not survive its depths. I bid you farewell. You have been a most worthy opponent.
After asking about Daggoth, the champion winds their way to the palace in Ebonheart. On this occasion, they do actually have the means to tell the champion where the entrance of the volcano is.
Oh.
You just need to hit the hammer of Garen on the anvil of Mythos. The anvil, however, is available, but the hammer needs to be retrieved from the Black Gate. The Black Gate is a 2-level dungeon, and so late in the game is surprisingly straightforward. On the second floor resides the hammer, but it's guarded by a golem and a fire demon. With the hammer, the anvil can be struck and the entrance to Dagoth revealed. The first level of Dagoth dungeon is a hardcore dungeon crawl littered with all sorts of enemy, and to top it all off, a vampire needs to be killed for the second level key. Once again, the second floor is difficult and long, as it should be for the last bit of the stuff, and once explored, the champion descends to the third level, which is a huge lava-filled room with the staff bit in the centre, which is protected, once again, by another riddle. Once this has been solved, and the 8th bit of the staff grabbed, Jagathon ambushes you one more time and tells you he's drained all the power from the staff, and there is one more thing that needs to be done before the staff will be completed.
The champion heads to the Imperial Palace to finally beat Jagathon and free the Emperor. The Imperial Palace is a 4-floor dungeon with higher enemy density than anywhere else in the game. After fighting down to the 4th floor and through mostly undead enemies such as liches and wraiths, the bottom of the palace has been filled with lava to protect the champion's final goal, which is the Jewel of Fire, which contains the power from the staff, as Jagathon helpfully pointed out. Jagathon is also there to protect it, which he wouldn't need to do if he hadn't told us that the gem existed.
100%.
Jagathon can't be killed, only beaten down. The jewel is behind a locked door, and once a suitable key has been found, and assuming Jagathon has not killed the champion, the jewel can be grabbed, which then kills Jagathon. And that is the entirety of Elder Scrolls Arena. So, thank you for watching a very long lore video of a 10-second plotline.
See, the only problem with Elder Scrolls Arena, or the early Elder Scrolls, is that they have very short storylines.
Yeah.
But because it's like randomly generated maps, then the actual game itself is technically massive.
Yeah. But they're fun, so...
They're good fun. Go play them, if you can.
Yeah, and, you know...
I mean, everyone can, because they're free on the Elder Scrolls website.
Yeah,
So
now
everyone go play them.
just get DOS Box, which I think is also free.
Yeah, they give you the link to DOS Box.
But it is an important part of lore, so that's why I've done it in depth, as we always do. So thanks ever so much for watching, and remember to subscribe and turn on all the alerts. Turn on all the alerts so you know when we post any new videos. Please also check out our Patreon. Subscribe so we can keep posting this, and also give the video a nice thumbs up, because it's nice to see. I'm not actually sure if it affects anything, but you should do it anyway.
Yeah, we'd like to know that you guys like it.
Because we didn't do it with a 4-second video. We whole hogged it.
Yeah, we did all.
And you can hear how ill I am today. I could have done with a 4-second video. No, we're on 20 minutes.
We made it. We put in the effort, guys.
Yeah, so, thank you very much, guys. I'm going to go to bed. Or probably play Diablo or something.
Tamriel do decree and thus make law. Arise, my champion, and take thy rightful place at my side.